Now, when I was growing up, to call a person of color, like myself or others, black, was considered derogatory. That's just a fact. You know, you call somebody black, those were fighting words. Those were fighting words.
Eric Moore, I think one of the mods blocked him already. He want to start arguing before we get over here good. What's going on? Tricori, Jonathan, more power. JaVale, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. It is 11:05 in the morning here in Chicago. And I got a lot of conversations today. I moved this one up. Let me get it out the way. Everything is good, bro. I seen a brother make a comment on social media, and he said, so-called blacks, blah, 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 blah. And the brother's Moorish. But the brother's he's always dealing with the black community, right? So it's like the brother, he makes money off the black community on one hand, where he's quiet. And then every now and then he gets in his feelings about his Moorish teachings. Then he kind of trash them on the other hand. I think it's in bad taste myself because, I mean, make your mind up. If you feel it's so horrendous that we call ourselves black, don't deal with us. But this whole thing where you deal with us to make money, but then you try to shame us for what we call ourselves, I'm not really with that. You know, and a lot of Moors, you know, for lack of a better way to say it, are irritating because they have a principle. And rather than just deal with that principle, they troll those of us that call ourselves black. And for me, I'm 65 years old. So some young dude that wasn't here in the 60s, that wasn't here in the Black Power era, that wasn't here in the Black is Beautiful era coming telling me. And then like some of these brothers, they're not really African-American descendants. Like their parents would be from the Caribbean or something like that. So it's like, you know, it's like a weird kind of vibe. It's like, okay, dude, you not really a foundational Black American. You're not really an American descendant of slavery. And did you join this shit to be different? I mean, like, what's your real reason for trying to be different? Because I'm going to just be honest. The Moorish philosophy is dead in the water. I mean, we black already. So I really don't respect the Moors constantly worrying about this word black because it's dead in the water. It's like that's never going to catch on, right? That's never going to catch on. Nobody's never going to follow that philosophy, okay? And the philosophy is an old philosophy from Noble Drew Ali, who read books written by white men, okay? And Noble Drew Ali, let me just put that out there. Noble Drew Ali's definition of black is a European definition. Duh. He got that from reading Webster's dictionary and British dictionaries, and European dictionaries is where he seen the definition of black. And the Moors teaching about black is a European ideology. So why they saying we're not black, their philosophy about the word black is not black. Okay? For you Moors out there, y'all's philosophy about the word black is a white philosophy. Facts. It's a white concept. What they teach about the sound black, because words are sounds. And sounds don't have any meaning. Sounds only have a meaning when you use them in a sentence. Okay? Da, ra. When Noble Drew Ali was here, he didn't have the English classes we had. He didn't get the education I got. Okay? Stop it. Black is a sound. Okay? Words are sounds. Sounds are not bound to any meaning. A word can be used in a sentence, and that is when you determine what that word means. For the slow people in the back. Okay? Okay? So look in the chat. What did I just put in the chat? The sound to. What does to mean? What does to mean? What does to mean for the Moors? What does to mean? Doesn't mean anything unless you use it in a sentence. And the sound to in China might mean anything. The sound to with one African tribe might mean something different than another. The sound to in some African tribes might translate to the spelling tu, like tutu. The sound black in Asian countries, when they say black, black, it does not mean that. And if it's spelled in English, the way they use it is B-L-A-C, black, 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 black. And it does not mean that, okay? So this old concept is dead in the water, okay? Dude did a good job at that time. Noble Drew Ali did a pretty good job at that time. But in today, he's obsolete. His teachers are obsolete, bogus, and outdated. His teachers are outdated. Okay, nobody listened to him. Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam became bigger. They were black Muslims, duh, so they didn't listen to him. The Black Power era came. They didn't listen to him. Africa didn't listen to him. Okay, Steve Biko said black consciousness. He didn't listen to him. James Brown said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He didn't listen to him. When I was born in the 60s, I was black and beautiful and say it loud, and I didn't listen to him. His philosophy and his concept has failed. Okay, Morris science is an old, failed philosophy that will never go anywhere. And Moors need to stop trolling black people with this old, failed concept. Okay? It's never going anywhere. Never. If black people start calling themselves something else, it won't be because of the Moors. Nobody is listening to the Moors. And a lot of these Moors don't let you even know they're Moors. 1 minute, they these positive black brothers, at least that's how they carry themselves, but deep down inside, they got this weird concept. So I've seen the brothers say so-called black, which Moors need to understand that's offensive. You know, they need to understand that disrespecting the word black and constantly harping on the word black is offensive. And you wouldn't like us doing you like that. Now, what if every time I had something to say about Moors, and why do brothers call themselves Moors, and how Moors is stupid and all that, you wouldn't like it. And so Moors need to understand it's offensive for those of us to call ourselves black, for you to keep criticizing what we call ourselves. Mind your business and call your children whatever they want to call them. We grown people. It's not for you to tell me what I'm supposed to call myself. I've been black since a baby. And the brother I'm talking about, he's younger than me. He ain't no African American. He's an immigrant descendant, and he's younger than me. He need to shut up and stay in his lane. Like you younger, you know, I respect it, brother, but I ain't really like that. I said, okay, this dude trolling the black community, but he making money off the black community. And it's like, dude, stop before I call your name. You know, like, bro, you ain't got no more time to do that for me. I have to drag you out here. I'm gonna have to call names, and I'm with it. I'm with all that. But the brother, he do some good works, but he need to stop hating on the concept black or get out the black community. Go deal with the community that don't call themselves black. Like, that's fraudulent too. Because you're going to take these black dollars from black people and put them in your black ass pocket. See what I'm saying? So brothers out here making money off of black people, taking black people money, and then talking like we stupid for calling ourselves black. Well, if we that stupid, stop selling us your shit you selling us. Like, for real though. Stop selling black people your products. Stop dealing with black people and just go in your Moorish community and just deal with y'all. But if you Moors, if you want to deal with us black people, you're going to respect what we call ourselves, or we're going to kick you out the black community. We kick you out. You don't run nothing. We black already. That's to all the Moors out here. As far as Chicago, we got Moors, Blackstone, but we know the gangs. The gangs didn't do nothing positive. The Blackstone Rangers didn't do nothing but murder and mayhem. They didn't do nothing to build up the black community, but shoot black people. Facts. The Moors, what has the Moors done and the Blackstone Rangers done positive to uplift black people in the city of Chicago? The only benefits gangs has ever played a part of, right? It is protecting us in prison. I'll give them that, in jail. But other than that, the Moors, the Blackstones call themselves Moors, and they say black mean death, but then they was gangbanging and causing all the death. Make that make some sense. So that's just like irritating me, these brothers talking about so-called black, so-called black. Nigga, I'm black. And like, this dude ain't gonna never walk up to nobody that call himself black and say, you a so-called black. See what I'm saying? That was disrespectful. You know, I started to unfollow dude. I'm like, dude, what do you mean so-called black? Bro, I was black before you was born. My mom and daddy was black. It was Negroes. They was Negroes and coloreds. Before your grandmama and them came up here. Before your grandmama and them came up here, we was Negroes and coloreds. Then we elevated to black. You wasn't even born yet. You probably born in the 80s and something. And so these dudes be born in like the 70s and the 80s after the black struggle and the black rise up as black people talking. Because a lot of these Moors is babies. They not no G's like that. They babies. They young. They middle age. They young. I really didn't like that. I was like, oh, you know, I thought this brother was bigger than that. So-called blacks. And he talk, black people should have unfollowed dude. Like, dude, who you talking to, so-called black? Then that's not your place, shorty. That's not your place right there. You know what I'm saying? We're not listening to Noble Drew Ali, and we're not listening to you. That go for all the Moors. Listen, I'll say it. Ain't nobody listening to Noble Drew Ali, and ain't nobody listening to y'all. Period. Nobody listening to y'all. Okay? Get together with some Moors and bring something to the table for the black community, or for whatever you want to call us community. Bring something for us to show us why we should listen to you. But if you can't get together as a group of Moors and put nothing on the table for our community, all you want to do is criticize a definition, which is a European definition. We ain't messing with you. This is the definition from the Oxford. This is where they get it from the Europeans. Look what they said in Oxford what black mean. Very dirty, covered with dirt, chimneys black with smoke. Go and wash your hands. They're completely black, full of anger and hatred. She's been in a really black mode all day. Rory shot her a black look, without hope, very depressing. The future looks pretty black. That's all a European concept. The Moors have been involved with a lot of traitor stuff as a group. They split away from Hannibal and ran up there with the Europeans to live with the Europeans, smile and grin with the Europeans, and then some of the Asian and Europeans conquered them and put them into slavery and castrated them and all of that and mistreated them and made slaves out of them, okay? They got treated up there in Europe, okay? All right, straight up. And then they was the ones that marched black people across the Sahara Desert up through Morocco and sold us into slavery to the Muslims. The first big slavery was 700 years under Islam. Under Islam was our first slavery, under Islam, okay? Under Islam. So in the 60s, when Islam came as an alternative to white Christian slavery, that was false, because Islam put us in slavery before there was even any Christianity doing anything. We was in slavery 700 years under Islam. You understand? Yeah, the people castrated them and made them eunuchs. You know what I'm saying? They come down with them Turkish hats on their head trying to define everything, but where they get them hats from? Them hats what ain't black. Okay? That ain't no Africa. That, come on now, stop. And so, they just be trolling too much. I don't have problems with brothers having philosophies as long as they come back within the community ready to work and unite. But when brothers get in these philosophies, that's why you don't see me really pushing Rasta concept, because they did the same thing about bald head this, bald head that. How would y'all like me if I was over here always calling brothers bald head this and bald head that and bald head that, just because I got some dreadlocks? I'm supposed to look down on the other brothers like that? That's when you're doing too much. Anytime where I step on black people with Rasta philosophy, now I'm bogus. Now I'm bogus. You're doing too much. And you're doing too much when you got one of these concepts, have to learn how to keep that concept within your group. And when you get back around the masses, you got to put that stuff in your pocket. Now, bro shouldn't have never put that on Instagram. He shouldn't have never said so-called blacks, because I would be offended. Personally, if I was around him, I'm like, what you mean so-called black? You calling me a so-called black nigga? I'm black. There ain't no so-called. You a so-called Moor. If that's the case, like, what makes you really a Moor? See what I'm saying? I ain't like that. I'm always be looking at him a little crazy now, because I ain't never thought he moved like that. I thought he moved a little different, but now I say, oh, okay, he's all caught up in his feelings with this weirdo philosophy too. You know what I'm saying? But then he ain't saying that when he pandering for money. See, that's the part right there. That's the part. You know what I'm saying? It's just like me, I'm plant-based. I don't look down on you if you're not plant-based, because I push plant-based to try to help you be healthy, not like you're a lesser person or nothing because you eat meat. Like, that's crazy, right? As far as I'm looking at it, you're not a lesser person. You might be causing your own self-health problems like that. Something to be concerned with, but ain't nothing to turn my nose up on you because you eating some chicken. Are you kidding me? Or turn my nose up on you because you got a perm in your head, or you got a haircut. So a brother got a haircut, I got dreadlocks, and I'd be like, that gets a little nutty right there. Like, it's just another brother minding his business, doing what he want to do, calling himself what he want to call himself. And like, so it's just like, it's blowing me, because my vibe is like, if a brother's a Moor, he's just doing his thing. If a brother's a Muslim, he's just doing his thing. If a brother's a Christian, he's doing his thing. But these brothers, these Moors especially, they always stepping on black people's toes. They call themselves black. They don't know how to shut up and just be Moors. Like, just go be a Moor, bro, and leave black people's name out your mouth and black people's identity out your mouth. Why you keep speaking on the people that ain't Moors? I don't know. You're not their daddy or nothing like that to determine what we call ourselves. You're not my daddy. You know, I take it personal because I'm black. I've been black. I've been black from a baby, like 8, 9 years old. I was black power. I was saying loud, I'm black and I'm proud and I'm still black. At what point do another man got to tell me what I should call myself? Bro, you don't feed me or you don't do none of that. You don't feed me, and the Moors ain't got nothing they got nothing to stand on to demand nothing. They got no programs in the community. They got nothing in the community, nothing.
Particularly here in North America, the copper-colored people.
They have nothing. They have nothing to show for nothing in the community.
By divine, natural, ecclesiastical,
that's a fact.
International, and constitutional laws.
The Moorish
the principles by which we
got
live,
nothing to show in the community. I mean,
love,
zero
truth,
as a group.
freedom,
nothing.
Peace, and justice.
Nothing to show. So it's like, at what point can you keep running your mouth when y'all can't even get together and bring nothing to the community and make us respect your movement?
Permission to come here and do business, and we expected them
like,
to come here and
real.
do business honorably. They have not. We bear and exercise our divine responsibility
nothing,
and our
like whatever he
right
taught, there's nothing
to self-govern.
None of that. We ain't dressed like this. We ain't putting that thing on our head. We're not messing with dudes like that.
And administrators of our estate.
While you worrying about the word black, you need to wonder what the heck this dude got on his head. You know, I'm the type of person that, you know, if you step on my toes, I'm gonna step on your whole leg. So, you know, you Moors need to slow down with that before we start to pick apart what's going on over here with this here. Because your man's, you know what I'm saying, pause with your man's. See what I'm saying? Like, your man's ain't nobody that no masculine black man not finna follow your man's, okay? Straight like that, okay? So don't worry about the word black. You know, don't worry about that. Worry about your man's and how he was carrying himself and how he looking now here. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing about your man's gonna make us stop calling ourselves black. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem saying it. I don't got no problem saying it. I would have never followed dude, period. Nothing he got to say. And the concept he got is, you know, you would think brothers would update their knowledge. The concept is a European concept. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at it. This is what they say, right? Let's deal with the facts, where they got that from. That's a European concept. The Moors is trying to push a European concept about what black means. It's not, they won't create their own concepts. Anytime you follow the European concept, then how free-minded are you? Okay, black. Look what it say. Of the color of jet or carbon, black having a hue due to the absorption of all the nearly all incidental light compare white. Without light, completely dark. Without hope or alleviation, gloomy, the future look black. Look, very dirty or soil, right? Black factory chimneys, angry and resentful. She gave him black looks. Of a play or other work, dealing with the unpleasant realities of life, especially in a pessimistic and macabre manner, black comedy, without milk or cream. Look at these definitions. Causing, resulting from, or showing great misfortune, black areas of unemployment. Look, wicked or harmful, a black lie, black-hearted, causing or deserving dishonor or censor, a black crime. Of the face, purple, as from suffocation, right? Of goods, jobs, works, etc., being subject to boycott by trade unionists, especially in support of industrial action. Now, a color, a dye, or pigment of or producing this color. Black clothing run especially as a sign of mourning, chess draws, a dark colored piece or square, the player playing with such pieces, right? Complete darkness, the black of the night, a black ball in snooker, in roulette and other gambling, one of two colors of which players may place even bets, the others being red. Seeing in the black. Archery, a black ring or target. Verb, another word for blacken, to polish with blacking. To bruise, so as to make black, right? To organize a boycott, right? Especially in support of the industrial. I mean, look, adjective, a person belonging to a population having dark pigmentation of the skin, of or relating to the black person or black people. A member of the human population having dark pigmentation of the skin. You can just see time and time again that these concepts is European concepts. You know what I'm saying? These is European concepts. Right. He got all that stuff come from Europeans who have they got a lighter skin when they develop their way of speaking. Of course, they're gonna make everything dark. They're gonna relate everything dark, right, to negativity, you know. So they're gonna make a commercial. Oh, I got this black stain on my white dress. They're not gonna say, oh, this white bird stuff crap then fell on my nice black hat. They're not gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Because cocaine is white. You know what I'm saying? A lot of drugs is white that's killing people. See what I mean? Most of like white rice ain't good for you. White sugar's not good for you. You understand? So with these colors, you can find something wrong with any color. You know, you can find something wrong with yellow. Urine is yellow. I mean, that gets ridiculous, right? You can find something wrong with any color. You know, you might throw up on yourself. It might be orange. I mean, that gets ridiculous. You know, it gets ridiculous. Colors are just colors, right? And the concept of black was a concept that we developed in the 60s because they was trying to make us be ashamed for being dark. Okay? So the black power movement wasn't really a black power movement. It was a black is beautiful movement. And black power was a part of it. And because they was shaming us for our nappy hair, our big lips and our wide noses and our dark skin, we embraced our blackness. We embraced it. Because we got brothers and sisters that are black. Some people say you brown. No, we have people that are black. We have people that are purple. You understand? Good to see you, Alley Cat. So it's all sounds. So sounds can only be determined by how you use them in a sentence. More state that according to science, but according to European science, that's the part they left out. According to European science, it means death. Because at the time of Noble Drew Ali, there was no black books for him to read. All his knowledge came from Europeans. So how could you be against the word black, yet all your concept is white? Okay? All his concepts is white. Every book he picked up was white. We didn't have black scholars writing a lot of books and stuff back then. All his knowledge came out of a white European library. You understand? Black is a concept. Black is a concept of proudness. That's what black means to us. Black is a concept of embracing your hair, embracing your skin, embracing your lips, embracing how you talk, how you walk. It's a concept. This is something over the Moors' head. The Moors is dated. That philosophy is dated. Okay? Young black people, you have to look at words not from this way. You have to look at words from that way. And when you look at black and you go back to the 40s, black was an improvement. Black was a revolutionary concept because they were called coloreds and niggers. It was niggers, and then they made it Negroes. But in the South, they used to say niggers, like Negres, the niggers. And then it colored. And then when it came up here to my generation, we didn't want to be coloreds or Negroes. So we became black. It was a step up. All right? And then African American came from the social structure of a definition. Okay? That's where that came from. It didn't come from Jesse Jackson. All you Moors get in, you in classes in session. I'm the teacher, not Noble Drew Ali. And so African American, we didn't make that up. African American was a concept, identity put on us because there was a point in the 60s where all of these ethnic groups wanted to identify with where they came from and where they were at. So they began to call themselves Irish Americans, Chinese Americans, Italian Americans, okay, German American, Polish American. Because we couldn't find which particular country we came from, then we used a continent and we became African American. That's all that was. African American was a term made up to go along with Chinese American, French American, German American, like that. And so they used African American. It was just to use for identity purposes, governmental identity purposes. That's it. That's where that came from. That's where that really came from. Right? And African American today is a badge of honor. Why? Why is African American, the term African American, you should be very, very proud to be African Americans. I'm going to tell you why. We are the only ones that still have the same name, mostly, because everybody else breed it out. The Italians started sleeping with, the young Italian men started sleeping with Irish girls or Polish girls or whatever. So they were no longer Italian Americans. The French breeded. The Germans breeded. They all interbreeded. German might marry a girl from a Polish girl. So they are no longer German Americans or Polish Americans. They're white. And so they became white Americans because they interbreeded from different European countries. They dated, because if a man see a girl and like her, he's going to marry her. He don't care because she Polish. He German, she Polish, were different. He likes her. So they interbreeded. We only kept breeding with ourselves. So while the Italian Americans disintegrated, while the German Americans disintegrated, while the Polish Americans disintegrated, the African Americans stood strong. Right? Right? Deborah Green says, have any of the HBCUs or Black organizations ever developed a Black dictionary with words that are accustomed to our culture? There are Black dictionary. The HBCUs would never do that because the HBCUs pledge Greek, which, Deborah, I've been talking about that. The HBCUs are not really HBCUs, they're HGCUs because they're all Greek fraternities and sororities. And so I'm going to probably talk about that this week. We need Black fraternities and sororities. Because what's the purpose of me sending my son to a HBCU and he pledging Greek? How is Greek black? Right? So they just need help. Now, what a lot of y'all got to understand is, that it's still early for us. So one reason black people get upset now is because y'all think that we should be further along than we have, and that's why we want reparations. You understand? We're behind. We are behind. You all have not been free only since I was 12 years old. You was not free back in the day. That's just sentimental. Black people did not get free until I was 12 years old. You didn't get free till 1970. It was 1970 before Black Americans were truly what you would call free. 1970, when I was 12 years old. Before that, you couldn't ride on the front of the bus. You couldn't go in the restaurant. You couldn't go use the bathroom. None of that. Okay? You did not get free until the civil rights movement. If you didn't have civil rights, how the hell was you free? If you didn't have the rights to live in the country as a civilian, how was you free? So you're expecting too much. And then once you got free in 1970, right? Then you had to, no, you're not the ops. Once you got free in 1970, then you had to work hard to try to get an education, to try to finally get somebody in college. So the first battle was to be the first child to go to graduate from high school. But when I was young, if you graduated from high school, that was like graduating from college. In 1976, when you graduate from high school, that was equal now to like graduating from college. You would be like one of the first people to graduate from high school. Then we pushed to finally get people to graduate from college. So now that we finally got to the level where we're getting people to graduate from college, now we can go back and get our dictionaries and get all that. But we still babies in the game. That's why we want reparations. We're not as old as America, not as far as being free. America's older than us. Okay, America from 1776 to 1976, when I graduated, that's 200 years. Yet I only been free since I was 12. So you're not 200 years free, okay? I'm 65. Subtract 12 from 65. You've only been free 40-something years, straight up. So don't come down on yourself because it's a lot we still have to accomplish. You understand? That's why I'm live, to bring some perspective to the history. You understand? To bring some perspective to it. Because you got young brothers that's Moors, but they wasn't here in the 60s, so they just talking. They don't know what they talking about. That if it wasn't for being black and beautiful in the Black Power movement, you Moors wouldn't even be able to walk down the street. Because it was the Black Power movement, it was the Black is Beautiful movement that gave us some pride. Because even though black people was fighting for equal rights, they had been beat down so much that they was trying to emulate whites to be free. So your mama was putting wigs on her head, blonde wigs, and putting pink stuff on her face to try to make her skin and try to make herself look like Lucy and look like these women on TV. So we had to come to push the afro and stuff like that. And they've been constantly fighting it. You don't see the Moors fighting these perms. You don't see the Moors fighting these Koreans in the community or nothing. All they got on their mouth is going against black people, calling themselves black, but they ain't got their goofy asses out here shutting down these Korean nail salons, telling the sisters don't get their nails done, telling the sisters to get some natural hair on there. They ain't pushing that line. They're not pushing the real line. They are like butt hurt that everybody not joining their philosophy. And that's how it comes off. When you're a Moor and you say we not black, it makes you look childish. It make it look like you mad that we don't accept your philosophy. How else we supposed to take it? So then I got to get out here and let you know your philosophy is dead in the water, and we ain't going to never accept your philosophy. So let that go. We black.
The right change. One thing we don't do, okay, is ignore or distance ourselves. We've got to find ways of moving ahead and reaching in spite of. Now, in the meantime, we've got to get our young people involved in the process. If they don't even know who's being nominated, or if they don't even know who's being discriminated against, or the economic effect of certain decisions that are being made and how they are personally affected by that, then they are just simply like a choo-choo, like a country cow looking at a choo-choo train. Don't know what's going on. And my point is, it's our responsibility. We've got to educate them. We've got to train them. We've got to give them everything that we have and every tool and every strategy to fight with. So the burden is on us who have gone through this experience, and we can't blame our young people. Now, what I do like is what I see among our young people is the inclusiveness, like the women's movement, okay? And like some people, let's get down to it, Black Lives Matter. So some people say, well, that's a black movement. No. What they're saying is that we already assumed that white lives matter. So we should be saying Black Lives Matter also. So that's what it really says. The presumption is that white lives matter. So that's why it's necessary to say Black Lives Matter. If we didn't believe that white lives matter, then it wouldn't make sense.
Your idea of inclusiveness was really tested with as the rise of Black Power movement, and then SNCC broke off, and changed the name, right, from nonviolence, right, and turned away from nonviolence. Tell me just personally about when your peers turned away from nonviolence, but you chose Dr. King's route and lived that route. Can you take us back to those moments, those decisions, and your discussions with people like Stokely Carmichael, sharing a cell with him? How was that?
Well, first of all, I think that it's important to understand the transition with SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. When Stokely became the chairman of SNCC, we'd had two chairmen already, three, yes. Marion Barry, okay, Jr. was the first chairman. Chuck McDough was the second, and John Lewis was the third. Stokely was the fourth, and Rap Brown was the fifth. So what we're talking about here, when Stokely became chairman of SNCC, he had a different approach. He'd not been trained in nonviolence, and he believed in self-defense. And he was somewhat influenced by, Malcolm X, who talked about that, and also Adam Clayton Powell. Adam Clayton Powell talked about Black Power even before Stokely and others. And so what they were basically saying is that Black people needed to appreciate themselves as individuals and also as groups of people having some power. Now, when I was growing up, to call a person of color like myself or others black was considered derogatory. That's just a fact. You call somebody black, those were fighting words. So we had to appreciate black. And it wasn't a color, it was a culture. And I think that's the thing that made the difference. It was that culture was certainly recognized by whites, because that's why they say "you people," because they made a big difference out of the difference. Okay, and then it became a situation of white power. Okay, and there was a term that was used as well during that period, white power. So there was black power, but there was also people that white power. And so therefore, in SNCC itself, the Stokely stayed beyond his term because it was a student nonviolent coordinating committee. But when they didn't change leadership, it became non-student, okay? And it was no longer nonviolent.